Let's jump into the market watch of the last week. Kai, what's going on in Bitcoin?
Yeah, it's been a wild little week. So Bitcoin currently sits at 66,000. It topped out earlier this week at 73,000 and then went down about 15%. So on the day, we're down 2.36%. On the week, we are down 9.39%. But we did hit a dip of about 15%. So like I said, not a massive dip by any means, but a dip nonetheless, and one that was actually quite necessary, I think, for us to continue forward. So I'm pleased by the dip.
I remember you bugging me on Friday to get paid earlier so you could buy the dip. So I know you were pumped about it. Let's go to ETH. What's going on in ETH?
ETH currently sits at 34.80 at the time of this recording. It actually went down about 25%, so hit a high of almost 41, what I'm seeing here. And then currently sits at, it went down as low as 31. And it's down just 89%, 0.89% on the week, and on the day, and 13% on the week. It had a wild little ride yesterday because of some big news, which made it pump once again. So we'll talk about what that is throughout the episode.
All right, let's go over to Solana. What's going on with Sol?
Solana sitting at 184 currently, still up 13% on the week, which is wild because everything else is down. It is down 4% on the day, but Solana's just had a wild swing. It went up to $270, and then within a day and a half, it was all the way down to about $160, and now it's back up to 184. So this thing is just a wild ride, but obviously doing quite well when you zoom out and you don't look at the daily numbers. And then Jay will finish it off with the crypto total market cap, which is currently sitting at $2.4 trillion, down almost 10% on the week and 1.69% on the day. So, Jay, let's start with a little bit of talk about Bitcoin. Then I want to talk about what I actually did for the dip on Ethereum. We'll touch on that. And then there's actually some macro news finally, which we can discuss just a little bit of. There's not much, but we'll cover that. So first of all, on this dip that was only 15% for Bitcoin, on the exchange BitMEX, I guess there was a bunch of selling on BitMEX specifically, and the Bitcoin price went down to $10,000, and someone, for whatever reason, had an old bid, like a market bid at 10K, and they got it. So someone bought Bitcoin 2 days ago at 10,000, and then within a second, it went back up to 65,000 or whatever it was at. So like 6x in like a second. So kudos to whoever that person is. They must be just celebrating. That was literally happens in seconds. It's not like Bitcoin actually went down that low. It's just because a bunch of shit happened on the BitMEX exchange for whatever reason. So kudos to that human or bot, whoever that was. But part of the reason why all this happened, I mean, there's a few reasons. One, I had talked for the last couple of weeks. We were definitely getting over-levered and probably overhyped. I mean, meme coin mania, which we'll touch on again, was just getting absolutely ridiculous. We had the fundraise for WIF to go on the Vegas sphere. These are all typically like top signals and not necessarily top of the whole cycle. So the bull run is not over, as Jay asked the question at the beginning. At least I don't think it is. But these are generally times where like, okay, we need to take a break. Everyone's getting a bit ridiculous. Even in our Discord, we had people, especially even on our team, that were like, what should I buy next? How can I 10x? Blah, blah, blah. Like, stop talking about just ETH and Sol. We need to go farther down the risk curve. And then boom, they all get wrecked. And it's like, those are signals when you need to just chill the heck out. But part of it was the over leverage, the mania. And then we actually had our first day in a long time of outflows. So GPTC and the ETFs I'm talking about, but GPTC, Grayscale, had $643 million of outflows on the, I think it was the 18th or the 17th. Yeah, the 18th. So pretty big. So we're actually negative overall on that one. I think 154 million on the negative that day. We had another negative day to follow up. So ETFs taking a bit of a breather, I guess. But of course, we might have had $643 million of outflows in the ETFs. Who came in and bought the dip? Well, bought it before the dip even happened. Michael Saylor, we talked last week, he was raising 600 million or so to buy some more Bitcoin. Well, he did it, and he bought another 9,243 Bitcoin. And interestingly, Michael Saylor buys on the same day of the ETF outflows of 643 million. Michael Saylor buys 623 million worth of Bitcoin. So all is good. Michael Saylor's here to fill the gap and save the day for all the Bitcoin holders. So thank you to MicroStrategy and Michael. He's always here to save the day for all of us. Just wild. I bet next week, do you think by next week he's going to raise again? Because it's been 3 weeks in a row now we've talked about this. You think he does it again?
For sure. I think he's got extreme conviction at this current price. He's excited about this.
That fast? We're doing a pro report right now, actually, on the supply shock of Bitcoin. So we were running some numbers around the ETFs and around Michael Saylor. And he's currently buying, I think it's 250 Bitcoin per day on average over the last year. And he's actually picking up steam currently. So it's a bit wild. And so like, just for context, right now there's only 900 Bitcoin that's mined every single day. By mid-April, it'll be just 450. And so Michael Saylor on his own is almost buying about a little over half of all the Bitcoin mined every single day come April 15th. So, and then you count, the ETFs in El Salvador and everyone else that's buying. It's a little bit wild. Okay, let's talk about the dip and what happens when the dip's occurring. What can you look at? Well, sometimes, Jay, charts or lines on a chart can actually be very useful. A lot of people don't like technical analysis, and it's definitely not a perfect science. I'm not saying like you need to use it always. But interestingly, up on the screen here, I have the chart of ETH. And I've shared this one in our Pro Discord a few times. So Pro members have seen this. And I actually shared this on Friday, I think, when the dip occurred. And just said, look, guys, I think we've hit the bottom. I'm buying right now. And it was the perfect bottom. And the reason I thought that was, well, I have a chart here, which basically the lines in here are resistance and support lines that go back from the good old days of the last cycle of Ethereum. So we're looking at what happened when Ethereum was at these prices, so around 3,000 and 4,000 and 5,000, and the last cycle. Where did it have sort of some resistance and some support? And so I drew some lines here at the sort of top line, which would be some resistance at about 4,000, okay? And then we also had some, this was weeks ago, at 3,100 or 3,200, I guess it is, and 3,400. And so interestingly, as we passed 3,400 a couple weeks ago, we actually had a quick dip. If you remember a couple weeks ago, it was really fast. It was within a couple days, and it touched that 3,200 mark right where that line was. And then it shot back up. It rocketed all the way up to that 4,000 mark that I have lined on there. Then that signaled the top, came all the way down. Where did it hit again? That 3,150, 3,200 mark, which to me, I was like, and it did go past it just a little bit, but super brief and super quick. And again, just shot up from there. And now we're back up to like 3,500. So, and I mean, you could just watch it happen. I shared it on Friday. I said, guys, we just touched the bottom. I think we're going to jump from here. And boom, we exactly did that. So interestingly, as it was about halfway down from this dip, that's when payday was. And Jay shot me over some money. I put it onto my Quest trade because I'm not buying on-chain ETH at the moment. I'm buying in a tax-free savings account. And I was ready to buy. And so was my girlfriend. I said, you know what? Let's wait. I got a feeling it's going to hit the bottom of this line here. And so we waited 2 days, hit it. We got up in the morning, we bought it. And she and I both basically bought the low on this one. It was a beautiful, we were celebrating and it was nice. This is like her first time ever buying the dip. So she was excited. She also bought some coins. So that was nice too. But yeah, nice celebratory day. Jay, any question on that before I move on to the last piece of news here?
No, I'm feeling the good vibes. I did the exact same thing. I didn't hit the exact dip, but I came very close.
Nice work. And also the last one in the
Go ahead, keep going. Yeah.
So one of the reasons why we jumped back so heavy yesterday was because the FOMC meeting came out. This is the meeting that we have on a basically monthly basis where Jerome Powell and the boys tell us what they're going to do with the money. Is it going to be expensive money? Is it going to be cheap money? Is it going to cost a lot for my mortgage or not? They're going to decide basically our life. And just to kind of, I guess, short summary here, interest rates staying the same. They're not cutting. They still want to wait for 2% inflation, which we're currently around like 3% or so. So they're still sort of waiting for that. But what they did announce is they basically confirmed that they will be cutting this year, likely cutting 3 times this year. And they're planning to start slowing down quantitative tightening. So that means lowering interest rates and likely printing more money. So this was like overall pretty bullish. There was no changes. Like obviously once they lower interest rates, that's what we want to hear. But based off like the way unemployment is going and things, it looks like they're going to have to stop tightening, as what he said. Just the date we don't yet know. But so basically what happened was people took this as very bullish. It's a good outlook for the rest of the year. And so as soon as this meeting was done, it ended the bear market we just had, or the dip we just had in crypto, and we went nuts. I think Ethereum went up like 10% right after this, Solana 10%, Bitcoin was like 9% in the day. It was a beast of a day on everything, tech stocks as well. So that's sort of where we're sitting right now, but continue to just be stuck at, I think it's 5.5% interest rates, but likely going to go down in the near future.